Isabel, look. Look over here, look. Come over here, I want to show you something. Right there, you found it. This is called curly dock or yellow dock. And you know what? These leaves are edible. Did you know that, Isabel? Can we pick some and maybe we'll bring them in and cook them down and show everybody how we can eat them? That sound good? Would you like to do that? Okay, yeah, let's pick them. So we're going to pick some of these young leaves right here, like this, the younger ones. They're more tender. We can cut off the bad spots. When yellow dock is cooked down, it turns a pale green.
I do that.
What did you say?
I do that.
You want to help?
Yes.
Can you say yellow dock?
Yeah.
Yellow dock. Can you say curly dock?
Do that.
Good girl. All right.
I will do that.
We're going to pick some of these, just a little bit here, because actually they can act as a laxative, a mild laxative also, but it's a green, so those who need laxatives every once in a while, this would be a good green to pick. That one doesn't look very pretty, so we're not going to cut that one. This one looks nice right here, so we'll get that one. Okay?
Oh, that.
You want to hold it for me? Okay, hold them all. They're right at the bottom. You'll get to the bottom. Okay, thank you. Can you hold them all, or you want me to help you with some of them? You can hold that much. Hold it at the bottom. The bottom. There we go. Now you can get a hold of it. Let's go in the house. Let's go over here and pick some more first, though. I'm going to pick some of these, because these are nice and tender. And whenever you cook greens down, they always shrink. So, we have a lot of wild edibles in the early spring. Well, actually, thank you, honey, but I don't think I want to have the grass with it, but I appreciate your help. Thank you. Okay, well, I think we got enough. Let's go in the house. Okay, we have enough. Thank you. Let's bring them in the house. We'll cook them down, okay? You want to carry this too? Thank you. Those were some mushrooms I forgot to cook, so they kind of got bad. I had to dump them. Okay, well, we'll clean that container and use it for something else in our garden, okay? All right, let's go in the house. Faithful's all excited. He wants to play. Let's go see him. Hey, Faithful. Hey, Faithful. Good boy. Okay, all right, we're gonna go in. Want me to hold these for you so you can open the door? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Isabel. Open the door for us. All righty. Thank you. Isabel, we're gonna have to wash these first, okay? All right?
Okay.
All right. You gonna help me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
What'd you say?
Sit up there.
You want to sit up there? Okay, you can sit up there. Let me clean the counter. So I'm just going to wash the curly dock leaves that I collected. I collected some with Isabel the other day, but then she had to go be with her mom with this whole quarantine thing, and so she's not here anymore with me, and I do miss her, but she's just staying with her mom. So I'm going to rinse these, and I'm going to show you how I steam some of these down. These I've been finding in my yard. They're all over the lawns. It's called curly dock or yellow dock. And if you can find the young tender leaves like this, just pick some and try it out. It is a mild laxative, and it has oxalic acid too, so you don't want to, like spinach, you don't want to overdo it. If you have small amounts, and it should be fine, and it is a very nutritional green. So I'm just going to wash these. They don't look very dirty, but I'm just going to wash them right now, and then we'll cook them up. Okay, so I've got them rinsed, and you can cook the whole thing and just cook the stem too, but I'm going to take them and I'm going to go like this and peel off the main stem like this and have it so they'll be a little bit more tender, and maybe I could just run these through a juicer later to get the nutrition off of these, or cook them in soup or something. So I'm just going to take these and go like this and run them down like this, kind of like you do with kale. We'll get this done real quick here. Okay, I have my pile of greens right now. Here, this is curly dock, and I think I'm going to go outside. I've been looking at all the nice wild garlic that's been coming up in my yard, and even some of the dandelion greens. I think I might take a little bit of that and maybe some of the flowers, and we'll add it to this dish and see how that tastes. I'll cook it up in a little bit of light oil. I'm going to go outside and get a few more things. I see wild garlic coming up in my yard all over. I told my husband don't mow the grass yet because I got things to harvest. We don't have your typical lawn here. We have all kinds of weeds that grow up everywhere. And so I'm going to go get some wild garlic and dandelion greens, which I'm sure I'll be able to find now, and also the flowers that are coming out. So I'll be getting those, and then we'll add a little bit of maybe some spices from the spice rack and see if we can get something that tastes pretty good and is very nutritious. Okay, here I am outside, and I'm going to show you my lawn. I have a lot of things out here that you can use that are edible. So most of them, in fact, most everything that grows on my lawn is edible. Even grass is edible too. So anyway, see the onions growing up here? I'm going to put a close-up here on this. These are really tall. They're probably about 2 feet tall. I've never seen them this tall, but my husband hasn't been mowing the grass. This is really wild garlic. It's not wild onion. A lot of people call it wild onion, but it's not that. So I'm just going to come down here and snap them down and get these greens. And I'm going to just cut up some of this, and we'll put this in our... I got a little bit of henbit here, which is also an edible green also. I usually like to make that into tea because of the fuzziness of it. It's not exactly as palatable in the mouth, but it's very nutritious. So I'm going to get some of this and harvest this right here. And we'll just bring this inside, put it in the basket here, and then I'll go look for some dandelion greens. On my way to the dandelion greens, I passed my rosemary, and it's really blooming nicely this spring. So I think I'm going to take in some of these flowers. I'm going to add them. I'm just going to take a bunch of them and add them to the basket, and maybe a clip of rosemary also, and just add that to my meal. Maybe these rosemary flowers will put out a little bit of flavor into it. I'm sure they will. They're starting to kind of fade now. They're going to seed. There's still a lot of blooms in here. So I'm not going to put many, just a little bit. Just this is enough food for just me to have one dish, so I don't need that many. Okay, I'm going to stop here first. This is curly dock that I'm letting grow in front underneath my grapevine, and this is what it looks like when it starts to go to seed. It's putting out these seeds right here. You let them turn brown and then you can harvest them for flour. Curly dock root is actually medicinal too, but you want to make sure that you don't eat it raw. I think that you have to make sure it's cooked, but it's a blood purifier. Now the sourness of this particular green is sour because of the oxalic acid in it. And just like spinach, people that have kidney stones or have trouble with kidney stones don't want to eat too many greens that have oxalic acid in them. Many of the cultivated greens like spinach and maybe even some collards and kale might have some, but particularly spinach I can think of. So if you have a lot of kidney stones that you have problems with, it's good not to eat too much of this or be very cautious with it. But if you don't have any problem with that, and if you eat it in moderation, just like spinach, it should be fine. And I always cook this down, which helps reduce the oxalic acid anyway. When I cook these greens, they do turn pale, and you'll see that when I cook them inside. They turn like a more pale green. And they are a mild laxative, so that's another good thing for people that do want regularity, that have a problem with that. So I just wanted to show you that. And here I wanted to show you also down here, I'm able to find some more things I can show you. This, in the same bed as my curly dock, I have plantain. And plantain is another green you can cook. It's also used to make salves for burns and skin conditions. It's very good for baby rashes to make plantain. People that get stung by a bee, I would immediately take one of these and chew it up in my mouth and put the juices on the sting. That's supposed to help draw the poisons out and to take the sting away. And so here we also have obviously one going to seed right here, which I probably will take it and blow it over here. There we go. Let the seeds drop on the lawn. But I'm going to harvest some of these little tops right here of these violet greens, and there may be a little bug crawling around that one. I'll make sure I rinse it off. These tops are good to use in pancake batter, or you just want to steam them up and eat them like that. Here we got some young, very young, tender dandelions. I'll probably just put a few of them in there. This is my lawn, which you don't see any grass. All you see is plantain, and you see chickweed, which is going to seed, which is very, very edible and good for you. This is actually a hairy chickweed, which isn't as palatable, but I have a regular chickweed that's very delicious, and I'll give you a little YouTube on that one with my granddaughter Isabel. She loves eating chickweed. So I'm going to just pop a few more of these, trying to find, in the midst of all these other things, I'm trying to find some young dandelion greens. But I have plenty of curly dock for my meal this time, so I'm not really concerned about getting too many. But here's some right here I can get. These young ones, like I said, all these dandelions have a bitterness to them, but the bitterness has medicinal value to it. A dandelion root is a blood purifier. So if I were to dig up this and take the root, I could steam the root and cook that, and it will help with my purifying my blood. I like to do that. So anyway, I'm just going to take these here and add them to my meal. Let's go inside. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of cut up this curly dock a little bit more here, make it in smaller pieces. You know how greens, they really cook down a lot, so this might seem like a lot now, but it won't probably be that much by the time it cooks down. Some greens cook down a little thicker, like kale and lamb's quarters. When the wild lamb's quarters comes in, that cooks down pretty thick, but it still steams down, and so we won't have as much when we're done. It'll be more concentrated. Okay, so there, I've got that cut up a little bit here. Okay, so I have this wild garlic that I cooked, and I didn't feel a need to wash this. It wasn't exposed to dirt, so I'm just going to leave that. I've got my rosemary. I've never created a meal quite like this, so this will be interesting. I had harvested this plantain, so I'm just going to pop that in there. That's really the same thing. And then I've got all these, the flowers and a little bit more onion here. I did wash my dandelion greens, so they're a little soggy. I washed my dandelion greens and my leaves because they were closer to the dirt. So that'll just add a little bit of steam when I do cook them up. Okay, let's go over to the stove. I like cast iron, so I'm going to use this cast iron pan. I'm going to turn on my oven. I'm just going to add a tad of oil, and another thing I might want to add is onions. Let me get some of that. I put my oven on pause for a minute because I think I'd like to do some garlic and onions. I do have garlic and onions growing in my garden, but this is stuff I bought at the store. Probably don't need this whole thing. I do like lots of onions. Get all the bad stuff off. Okay, I'll probably just use this much. Save the rest for later. I'm going to chop this up in my food processor, so I'm not really being real particular about it. Whew, those onions are strong. There we go. A couple garlic. We want to keep our immune system strong during this time, so this is good to have. Greens. We want the microgreens for our prebiotics, and we need the probiotics, like your fermented foods and stuff are also good for you to have during this time, or any time really. So I'm just going to process this real quick. Okay, I got my onions and garlic, so I'm going to reheat the stove. I had shut it off. I'm going to just put a little bit of oil at the bottom here. Put in my garlic and my onions. Add some of this rosemary. Take off some of the little sprigs here. I'm going to throw in these dandelions flowers. Look a little bit pitiful now because they got rinsed, but they'll add moisture because I rinsed them, so I'm just going to do that. The garlic, which I'm just going to cut up in there. This will definitely help build our immune system, all this nice garlic that's coming up in the yards. That's why I'm telling my husband not to mow the grass till I can get this good and harvested. Even I have some already harvested, but fresh is always nice. And I'm going to dump these flowers in here. And break up some of these onions that fell in there. Okay, I'm going to let it steam for a little bit. I might put a little bit of moisture in there. Maybe a little red wine vinegar. I have some lacto-fermented green peppers that I had fermented last year, and I turned it into powder, and I add this a lot to my greens, which gives it a real nice flavor and adds some more nutrition. I'm going to add my greens in here. Now these greens are nice and bright right now, but they're going to turn a pale color. That's the color of curly dock when it cooks. Okay, add a little bit more water, just a little bit. Give it some steam here. I added my powder to my shaker. I'm going to add it. See how it's getting pale? It's a little bit pale right now. I add a little bit of flavor. Add some turmeric, anti-inflammatory, and some pepper, brown pepper. Got to have pepper to get the curcumin to be beneficial in your body. These are already kind of getting down to really almost nothing here. Okay, definitely cooking down. Almost done. Get a little bit more water, just a little bit more. To get those spices mixed in good. It's interesting to taste this with the rosemary. I'm not sure if it'll be too strong or what. I've never done this before. It's a new recipe I'm experimenting with here. Pretty much what I do. I use what I have. Okay, I'm going to put it on low and let it cook just a little longer. Okay, I'm going to finish this off. It looks pretty good here. And I'm going to try it out and add some of my lacto-fermented sauerkraut to it. Okay, so here we have our curly dock and onions and wild garlic, rosemary and all that. I have a little bit of lamb and some sweet potatoes from last year's harvest. I'm going to add some of the sauerkraut, which I made, lacto-fermented sauerkraut, to my greens. I think that'll help give it a little nice flavor. I did taste it already and it tastes pretty good, but I thought it would taste better with the sauerkraut. Okay, so I'm going to eat it now. Okay, a little bit of sea salt on my meat. And so you get to watch me eat. I'm just going to let you watch me taste this. It doesn't even, it's not even sour. It's really good. The sauerkraut makes it really good too, but the greens itself has a lemony taste to it. The rosemary leaves are a little bit chewy, but not bad. So, thank you for watching. I hope you can enjoy going out in your yard and finding some greens during this time where everybody's staying at home. God bless you and stay well. Oh, one more thing. I'm almost done. I just got my greens left. They are very good. But I would say probably these greens were about half of what I harvested, and there's enough for maybe one more serving. So it does cook down quite a bit, but like I said, those that have kidney problems might want to be more careful, not eating too much of this every day. But it is good for you, and it has so many things, good things in it. And for me, I could use mild laxative anyways, so I'm good. Bye-bye.